Hello and welcome to the 32nd PlanetDestiny podcast. I think it's 32nd. Yeah, I remembered it this time, guys. I am joined by Tefty, joined by Briar, joined by Pope Bear, and then Ryan is also here making his second appearance on the PlanetDestiny podcast.
Welcome, Ryan.
Yeah, the elusive Ryan.
Yeah. Well, it's been a whirlwind of a week, or at least the past 2 days for the most part. We had the Bungie Tower stream, or the Year 2 stream, I think is what it's called, where they're kind of telling us what to expect going into Year 2 for our characters. And we have a hell of a lot to expect.
It almost feels like there's not much that's not changing as far as our characters and like levels and how we use items. Everything's changing.
For all intents and purposes, it's all going to feel exactly the same. But there's a lot of little stuff changing behind the scenes that is worth taking up 2 hours to talk about.
Do you know what? To me, to be honest with you, to me it seems like, the shell of the game is the same, right? The art, the characters and things like that. But those details, the volume of them, it makes it feel like an entirely new game to me.
Yeah,
it feels like this. They're so substantive, the changes, that it just feels like it's a whole new version of the game. Maybe one more that was closer to what they envisioned.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think it's a much more streamlined system from what we can tell. The thing that I like most, because the first thing in this article, the Year 2 stream analysis, which you all should go check out and kind of go along with us, is like in the character thing here. What I really like seeing was the stats, or the like your intellect, strength, discipline, those type of things. It told you in seconds how much your cooldown will be.
Yeah.
Like that is great. I don't have to go out and do experiments anymore. It just tells you right there. Boom, done.
And it's in segmented bars, so you can see how close you are to the next, level of cooldown.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's a small thing, but in reality, it's a quality of life that it's so big once we get to start using that, because it makes armor equipping and swapping and just seeing the immediate results so much more tangible. Mm-hmm. So you feel like, I actually got an upgrade right away just from picking up this piece of armor.
I can remember for doing, I think it was the Monte Carlo video, trying to test the different strength values and stuff, and this is what it looks like without maximum strength. This is with maximum strength. Here's what you can expect for cooldowns with and without. And it's going to be so nice to just have those little numbers right there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Even like when you're completing a raid and you get like a new helmet, right? And you're trying to compare that new helmet to the old helmet that you already had. Maybe I'll swap this one out. Maybe I won't. This one's got a little bit more discipline, but it's got strength instead of intellect. How is that really going to affect, how I play the game? And now you'll be able to see in numbers how exactly changing that gear out will affect it.
Yeah. A big part of that is for people who don't play the game to the volume that we play at. They'll be able to see that information immediately because we played it so much. We can be like, I understand what it's going to affect with that kind of intellect and how I'm going to lose this kind of cooldown on my grenade and so on and so forth. But for somebody who maybe has 100 hours into the game, that's not very obvious at all, and that's a big change right there.
Yep,
it's a big upgrade system.
I was gonna say the same thing, Tefty. I think that some of the system has been simplified, but it's made it's more complicated in that there's more pieces that add to the whole, right? You have more, you're getting more items have sub attributes to them, but they've simplified it all and made it easier for the average person to understand. And that number means a lot. Like you could dig deeper into each one of the pieces of armor and item and get really in depth into what makes your character go that next level. But if you're not that character, if you're not that player and you're just playing it for fun with your friends, you can just simply look at that raw number up on the right, and that will give you an idea of relatively how powerful your guy is compared to others.
One of the other things I really like is that one of the really popular questions that I get is, hey, is there any reason I should go over, I think 290 is the max for a stat? And right. I'll see someone's like, yeah, I have 400 intellect and my stuff recharges so fast, and it's like, actually, you get no gain after this number. It's like, oh, I feel like no, you really don't. And now there's going to be hard evidence. Just looking at that, you see no difference. You know that there will be no difference.
Yep.
That's going to be a nice little thing too.
You'll still probably be able to do that, right? Is overmax.
Oh yeah, you'll be able to overmax.
But now
stuff,
you'll see that little bar,
and then you'll know that you shouldn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll know it's wasted.
Yeah.
A wasted stat at that point.
One of the other things is we're seeing like ghosts will also have stats on them. Like we see there's a blue quality shell here at level 20. It has 7 intellect, 7 strength, so not earth-shattering amounts here. But then its little perk is it detects and marks nearby spirit bloom. So again, it's not going to be game-changing perks. It's just nice little quality of life perks getting added to the ghost shells.
Do we know if the material exchange system right now for Spirit Bloom and Spin Metal and so on and so forth, is that going away from what it is right now? And
what is the
having
current
to go
system?
out in the field? So, you can exchange Vanguard or Crucible marks for a stack of 20 of those materials. Is that going away?
I don't remember seeing it on the Crucible.
They didn't show
vendor.
they didn't show
right?
the Vanguard either.
Yeah, they didn't show the Vanguard one, but it is on the Crucible one in the current game. So
did the speaker have the exchanges?
I don't believe so.
No, it didn't.
Okay.
So the question then is, if we can't do the material exchange like we had done before, because now we have legendary marks, so they're kind of a different rarity and quality to them because you can use them for upgrades as well.
And more valuable, yeah.
Yeah, they're more valuable, exactly. So now the question is, did they remove those material exchanges, and then those ghost perks of finding those materials out in the field is going to be more useful? Because as it is right now, I could care less about having Spirit Bloom pop up.
I walk right by it right now. Like I see it, but I don't stop.
You gotta think that they've spent a lot of time into making this next version of it meaningful for the character.
Sure.
I think that they're putting in these attributes for a reason, and it makes sense if you put one and one together. You've got armor and weapons that take less materials to rank up. I think they made a change to the way that the materials were gathered because a reaction to the community that said, "What the heck's going on? I don't want to spend 3 hours getting Spirit Bloom.
Running around.
That's ridiculous. This is ridiculous."
It was 16 per bubble back then.
So they and it was like 150 for each piece of legendary armor, right? And so you're in a position where they're reacting. You imagine that they're at a point where they're trying to reset that shift, and they're requiring fewer materials per upgrade. You would think that they're wanting you to go back to that place where you're finding materials out in the wild, right? So logic would say, hey, if you've got fewer materials for an upgrade, they're going to want us to find it out in the play space. And so they're going to shut off this other way of us getting it through the tower that was put in there reactionary to stop the grind. If I'm a player that's going to Venus, I'm hoping that I get to not just pick the ghost shell that looks cool to me, but the ghost shell that has Spirit Bloom on it and the class armor that allows me to rank up my auto rifle quicker.
Right.
If that's a reality, then I'm excited because then I'm flying into Venus and I'm having to change my armor around for the specific task that I want to do. And that's cool to me.
Personally, for me, it means I'm going to be hiding a lot of Spirit Bloom under my mattress.
Start buying Spirit Bloom now.
Start buying. Hoard it now.
Hoard it now.
Bury your spin metal.
How many weeks do we have left? Do we have 3 weeks or 4 weeks?
Got 3 weeks, I believe, right now.
So we technically have 300 marks, actually 600 total if you do Crucible and Legendary per character, 600 per character that you could stock up on and blow through all those materials.
That's a lot of materials, and I think I'll do that.
Yeah, I don't really relish the thought of going and material farming again. I did so much of it in Vanilla Destiny that I don't really want to do it anymore.
Oh, I know. Chest farming, material farming. Oh,
that's not something like it works in places like World of Warcraft. Yeah. Let's get that one out of the way.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, early.
Yeah, get that out early. It works in places like WoW because there's also a secondary market that you could farm up stuff and then sell it there. But when you're just farming for yourself, And for some reason in Destiny, the farming just is not. God, it's so damn boring.
Well, what if you could do something with those materials that you didn't need? Like you said, it would made sense.
Well, we used to be able to turn them in for rep, right?
Yeah, we used to be able to turn them in for rep, which if I believe in the Game Informer article, they did say that you'll be able to turn in like motes of light, heavy ammo synths, and like just random other materials for rep at specific places.
So some people, it may not be you, the guy that likes to quick scope with a icebreaker in PvP.
Oh yeah, it's so fun.
So it may not be you that plays this way, but some people really enjoy going into patrol and doing these patrol bounties and things like that, and picking up materials along their way, and then for their efforts they get to go back to the tower or the reef and wherever it is, and maybe exchange those materials for something of value to them.
I can see that. I do like doing patrols now. I went through probably a 3 or 4 month period where I didn't run any patrols at all because I'd gotten so sick of them from having to do all that material farming. But now I'm kind of come around again. Now patrols have kind of, I don't know, they're a little bit more fun than they used to be because I don't have to be so concerned about staying in the same place, doing that, circle that you would do just to make sure you're constantly getting those chests to spawn. Mm-hmm. As long as they're not as long as we don't need so many of them and it's not like this constant concern. Every time I get a new raid weapon, I've got to go farm for 2 hours to make sure I have enough, Spirit Bloom to actually upgrade it. Then I'm okay with it. But if they mess up on this, it could be really detrimental.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, what would be too much though?
I don't know. It's hard to say until it actually happens. What it was too much though, like by a long shot.
Oh, I agree. And the community told them, and that's why. Yeah, we got.
Honestly, the biggest part is that the reward for the effort just wasn't really there after you got through the first phase of it.
It was like it's like 20 materials to upgrade a bubble, and it took you I remember relic.
I think it was 16. I think it was 16.
16 then. It was still a lot, and some of those materials it just took you. It could take you 15 minutes to get 15 relic iron because you'd only get like 1 or 2 from each. If you hadn't done the necessary Grimoire score to get more from each of them, it was just
yeah. Of course, every now and then you'd pull that one chest.
Oh,
that would have 12.
Yeah, the super chest.
You'd be like,
super chest. Get some.
And every now and then it had a legendary in there. Oh
yeah, and it would turn into a blue because the Cryptarch was still a bastard back then.
Oh god, we're gonna have to do a podcast where we just reminisce about year one.
Yeah,
we keep talking about that. I think
let's do it. Let's do it. Oh god, I want to do it. But there's going to be all these Twitch reveals that we'll have to discuss. We'll have to do it like after the Twitch reveals are over.
I have an idea. What if we do a year one in review, and we invite back some of our previous guests?
Oh, that's a great idea.
And just have maybe it's a special podcast that we're.
Could it be the first one that we live stream because we've been talking about that forever?
Yeah,
that would be great. I think that
I'm live streaming this right now.
Yeah, you're not live streaming. Yeah. No,
guys, I'm too tired. You can't be joking with me like
that. I'm excited about that. I think we invite back, any year one guests that we had, and maybe the comments of the people that are listening to the podcast now go into the comments section of the YouTube channel, and reply with a guest that we've had in year one that you really want to hear from.
Yes, we know you want Mr. Fruit, but he hasn't been on yet. I'm sorry.
Maybe if we get enough people, in the comment section saying that, by default he could find his way in there. So who knows?
So back to the new stuff.
Mm-hmm. If we're going on the article, the thing that comes up next is the bounties and quests. That awesome screen that it's very organized. I definitely like that. You can hold up to 16 bounties now, and I think it's 32 quests. Was that it? Oh, you can hold a hell of a lot of quests. You can hold even more bounties than you currently can now. The thing that I really liked, aside that you can turn in the bounties without having to go back to the tower, is that you can track the bounties with your ghost. Like you can like hit R3 over the bounty or quest, and anytime you pull up your ghost, there'll be a little menu that has them kind of tracked there, and you can see your progress on them. I definitely love that.
That's really good for the Crucible bounties, I feel like, and for like patrol bounties where you might be working on a specific bounty for half hour or maybe more.
How many more
Crucible.
headshots do I need to complete this? Yeah.
Before I can
the
switch weapons.
double fusion rifle kills.
Oh yeah, I hate that one. But yeah, that's a great change. That's a quality of life. There's so many of these changes that we're going to talk about today that are just going to make life inside Destiny that much better, that much more fun. Like less time spent in flight between the tower and wherever you actually want to be. More time just like popping up a menu. Okay, this is what I need to do. Let's go. This is great.
It's almost like they realized what aspects are work and what aspects are fun in an RPG setting. Because a lot of RPGs are kind of work, if you think about it. But the perfect ones, well, maybe not perfect ones, because there's no perfect RPG, but the great RPGs...
Skies of Arcadia was a perfect RPG.
Okay. Skies of Arcadia. It's the great ones presented in a way that never feels like work. Yeah. And that's why you want to play them. And I think that's what they're getting towards on this. The quality of life changes here make it more like, I'm accomplishing something, as opposed to, God, I got to punch this ticket again and hopefully get some sort of reputation reward that I could care less about right now.
Yeah. Just being able to hold 16 bounties, that's less trips to the tower, right? It's like now you can, like maybe I didn't finish all my bounties from yesterday, or maybe, I've got like a couple of longer term ones that I want to work on over time, like a Crucible one, like...
There's different level of bounties too. There's like the ones that come daily, and then there's these straight up weekly bounties as well from like the Crucible, which
I'm really excited about those.
Yeah, some of them actually, they weren't difficult by any means, but it was something that you'd definitely have to wait until you have a friend on or something so you can try to organize this very specific thing you have to do. Like I think one of them was defuse an enemy salvage point, and you know what? That's a lot easier to do if you have a friend on, and you can just go in there and annihilate the other team. Let him cap the salvage point, and then you take turns, wiping out the team so you can defend the salvage point. Stuff like that.
Yeah. Also, the fact that those weekly bounties. Sorry if this is skipping ahead or not. I'm not quite sure. But the weekly bounties are going to offer a Nightfall-like reward. Yeah, that is awesome. I mean, that is such a motivation to go and complete these bounties in this week, or as each week reset happens. I want to go and get those rewards. I want to experience what kind of drops I'm going to get out of them. Because I still enjoy doing the Nightfall, even though I've got basically all the exotics.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of people that enjoy the Crucible and like just the PvP aspect, but they didn't really feel, besides trials, they didn't really feel like they were getting enough rewards or loot or anything like that, especially not, exotics or,
There's also, it's like you can work towards something with that. And, the Nightfall, you're working towards this thing where you're going to get hopefully a really good reward. I had kind of a womp 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 moment on Xbox this week when I got 10 strange coins, and
guaranteed it's gonna happen.
It's like,
I don't know, man. Strange coins. Strange coins might be something that you need to be stocking up on.
Could have bought you a Gjallarhorn last week.
Yeah, well, fortunately I had enough, and I was like, okay, well, fortunately this is a new character. If this is on PlayStation, then I would have not really been mad, but you're like, well, okay.
I bought 10 Gjallarhorns and just deleted them for fun.
Just dismantled.
Like a
you made
baller.
Like a montage.
Assault is real. So many people tweeting me this week about their painful Gjallarhorn experiences, where they got a Gjallarhorn literally the day before Xur, sold it, and they had been trying. Incredible. They had paid like 900 hours of Destiny and never gotten a Gjallarhorn, and then they get it the day before Xur sells it.
There are many guns like it, but this one is yours. That's what makes it special.
And what else? What I'm curious about is, what gun are we gonna save during our weekly exploits that we can then delete on stream, Tefty, in Ryer and Patrick, that will make the chat go crazy? I mean, I'm a little bit of a loss right now.
That's a good question.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and find out. Black Suros, maybe?
Maybe.
What was the question? I'm sorry, I'm tweeting Luke Smith, who is a proper WoW player, about how awesome it was to be a Scarab Lord. Because you guys totally didn't like that earlier before the podcast.
Fascinating. So, level 25 boost.
I hear it's a big deal, but,
I thought it was cool, just didn't care.
Screw you guys.
I'm going home. You guys.
Wow.
So We knew about the level 25 boost before. This kind of clarifies that it is going to be a one-time use per person level 25 boost. Get you up and running for the Taken King. One character, though. You can't use it on 3 characters if you're new to the game. You just can use it on 1 character. We knew all this, right?
Yeah.
I have a question for you, though, guys.
I think so, right?
Are you tempted to just delete a character and start from 0 just to see what's different?
I'm definitely going to do that, Pope. I'm not going to delete a character. I'm just going to start from scratch on a Xbox One character, just because I want to see how the loot system works now. Is old content still going to be giving out old gear? Is it going to get completely refreshed? Am I going to be going with greens until I'm level 25 and then start getting blues? How's that all going to work? I want to see how they rejiggered the story missions and they reordered those and added in the new voiceover stuff. I can't wait to see it.
I really want to go back and play the mission without Dinklebot.
Mm-hmm.
See, the thing is, though, you can do that already. You'll be able to do that without deleting a character.
Yeah, absolutely.
But can you?
Huh? Yeah, because the mission is going to be reshaped.
Right, but are you going to experience it the same way if you're at level?
Well,
I'm just doing this for the cutscenes, man.
I don't know if we'll ever be able to experience it as year 1 players. I don't know if we'll ever be able to experience it like a fresh player would. Because we'll always have that experience behind us of having, those lines spoken by a Dinklebot. We've already run through this 3 to 5 to 6 times, depending on how many characters you've made and deleted, Pope. But so that's always going to color your experience going through it with this new version, right? But I'm interested to see it.
Yeah, I guess I was just thinking about that because that's the reason why. I mean, I have just as many hours deleted as I have played right now in characters. I think I have 1,200 hours deleted, and I have 1,200 hours played. So, it's one of those things where I really want to reset. Because the real reason why I delete him is because Urk is a jerk, and always and every charity stream I'm in, he always throws out, "Well, you're going to delete your character, aren't you, Pope?" And he always suckers me into.
No, that's when you go, I will if you will, Urk, and get him in on that.
Yeah, you got to double down.
Mm-hmm.
He's a ginger, and with him being a ginger, I'm just saying with him being a ginger, he is very good at his wordsmithing, and tricking me into See, I'm blonde, right, blue-eyed blonde. And so he is very good at tricking me into getting me to delete my characters. So I blame.
I'm still so confused at what ginger has to do with that. But okay.
Well,
I guess
just ask any ginger if they have fun playing with all the other brown hair, blonde hair, people out there.
Okay.
They manipulate all the world with we're little puppets on a string. Trust me.
The thoughts and opinions of Pope there do not reflect
the podcast.
No, come on. I mean,
so Patrick, what were you saying about the World of Warcraft thing?
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm tweeting out. Hey Patrick, ask some gingers if they have problems manipulating.
He is so great at jumping into community charities, and the stuff that he got
everything.
The stuff that he got donated for the cystic fibrosis charity was awesome. A vial of Deech sweat. I mean, where can you get that?
Probably.
You can't buy that.
No, you
That's
can't.
not something you can buy.
I mean, literally.
Deech's website?
What? Is he selling that now?
Yeah, by the bulk, man. It's like Red Bull.
Well, he said it took him 2 weeks to get.
I can get a 55-gallon drum of it on Amazon, apparently.
Wow.
Deech's sweat.
Yeah.
He implied a lot higher rarity than was actually. So never mind that. And then a lock of Pete Parsons' hair. So I mean, these are things that you just can't get on any charity live stream, and Urk is able to procure them. So, I mean, I think only so far I've only seen a ginger be able to do that. So, that's where my admiration for the freckled foe comes from.
So on to the speaker.
The speaker. Let's have
the speaker, not a hell of a lot. The material exchange remains there, but not like the spin metal and stuff. It's just going to be the radiant materials, the radiant materials into motes of light and glimmer, that kind of stuff. He does. Good news, everyone. If you like a specific cloak or, warlock item, if you use that crap, or a Titan towel, if you like using those. But if you need a fabulous hunter cloak from the speaker, good news is you can get an upgraded version that has stats on it from the speaker now. So I will be able to rock my Dead Zone Revolution cloak with all of its glorious new stats on it. Yeah.
Is that dirty brown thing you're always wearing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
It's dirty because I actually do work in it, Briar. I don't just sit around in the tower.
Hey, I make this shit look good.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's got to push that paper.
Yep.
I'm actually excited, speaking of the speaker and the class items, that these things are going to have perks now. We're going to be able to focus on, what we really want this thing to do for us, right? Is like we were saying before, is maybe we're going into a certain situation. We want to change our cloak. We want to change our bond. We want to change our rag hanging off our hip, so that we can, better be equipped for this situation. I think that's great. The more customization we get as a player, I think the more we get connected to the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's also a bunch of ghost shells that are also there that offer various perks, various
mostly
stats
material
perks.
collection. There's like maybe strength, intellect, or discipline, and then material collection sensors on it. I'm hoping there's other perks. Like I want like an exotic ghost shell that does some sort of weird interstellar communication thing, and I get secrets.
I want
nice and specific.
I want an exotic ghost shell that when I go into the animation of dancing, it does a strobe light around me.
Ooh.
Yes, please.
I would rock that.
I will pay money for that.
Yeah,
I will
certainly
throw
be
money
able to
at
money
the
down.
screen.
Wow.
So we're going to get a new kiosk that has ships, emblems, and shaders, right? I think there's going to be 3 different kiosks, one for each, or is it going to be one kiosk that has all 3 on it?
Different kiosks for each, I believe.
Okay. So this is going to help us with our inventory a little bit. We're going to talk about our vault a little bit later too, which is basically getting doubled. But this is going to help us just be able to delete stuff that we're not currently using, right? It'll help us with our Guardian's inventory. It'll help us with the vault space. And you won't always feel like you need to hold on to that thing. Even though I might never use it, it feels like it might be rare, so I just want to hold on to it. Now it'll just be in your collection. You can just go and get it anytime you want, and you can see what you haven't collected yet.
Now, did they talk about when or how that's going to be recognized? I
think they said that they were going to look at your account and see what has dropped overall.
At what point, though? Like, that has...
I believe it's going to be the day that the Taken King comes out. So you don't want to be deleting stuff now thinking you're going to get it when the Taken King comes out. You can delete it after the Taken King comes out.
God, I didn't know that. I thought it was your account-wide data.
I'd assume it would start at the 2.0 patch, which is going to be a couple weeks before Taken King.
I haven't heard anything official out of Bungie for that. The only thing I've heard is Dado saying a tweet. I think it was a tweet that said, I have it on good authority that you want to hold on to this stuff until the Taken King comes out.
Got it. So the only thing that's different about that is the exotics, which I might be jumping the gun here, but they said that the exotics are going to, they're going to be there. Anything that you've had dropped in the past year will show up in the exotic kiosks.
No.
Was that incorrect?
That was incorrect from what I understand. I think they, if you read the weekly update, it's based on whatever is currently in your inventory. And by inventory, I mean like your vault as well and across all characters.
Interesting. Because I could have swore on the live stream, that he said, if it has dropped for you in the past, then it's going to show up and it accidentally got deleted, then you'll be able to go rebuy one from the blueprint.
I think you're right, Teft. I think he did say that, but just in case, at this point, I would just hold on to stuff.
Yeah,
wouldn't delete anything right now.
I heard that in the live stream as well, and I'm with Briar on that. Everybody's super itchy to be prepared for the Taken King, so they're like, I'm gonna get a jump on this. Just hold on to what you got. I know it's tough you want to get ready for it, but just in case, the best case scenario is that they start all the way back from the history of your account, and then anything you have ever gotten, it will show up there. To the worst case scenario, if they're just going to scan your account on day one, Taken King, and then that's what you have in there. But either way, just be safe and don't delete anything just yet, and wait, because I think even if they are doing the live stream right now, they're still tweaking this game up until the day of the release. So I think that it's the best course of action is to not delete anything right now.
Was it update 1.2 that came before House of Wolves?
Yeah. You remember that?
Yeah, and it came like basically a week later than we expected it because they were still tweaking it.
They were tweaking it, and then there was an issue from the tweak. Yeah.
So just be aware. Don't delete anything right now. Play it safe. You'll have plenty of time once the Taken King comes out.
See, the thing is, I think a couple people tweeted at me. Well, I know Dark Sword for sure tweeted saying that, it looks like I'm getting my exotics back because of that live stream. And that may or may not be the case then with how this is shaping.
What he said is technically not incorrect, right? If you drop for you, you'll be getting it. Well, assuming you still have it. It dropped for you and assuming you still have
it. He prefaced it with the if your dog sat on the square button for 10 seconds and deleted that exotic, you'll be able to go and repurchase it. And that, obviously, there was no timestamp as to when that happened, so we don't know if he's talking about in Taken King time or previous.
Yeah, point, Taft. Just don't delete anything right now.
Yeah. It sounds like we're getting like a super clear message on that, and
very
surprise,
clear.
Surprise. Yeah. Just be safe. Don't delete.
It's good to know. Don't delete.
We gotta get a T-shirt or something that says that. Just be safe. I don't know, something.
Don't delete. You're also going to be able to see how to get emblem ships shaders, right? It's going to give you a quick description on, how to actually achieve what you need to achieve to get the thing.
Somewhere like someone was easy to see where it's like you're going to have to get this through RNG. Do Vanguard strikes for this emblem. So it's like, all right, so I got to go do Vanguard strikes to hopefully get this emblem. And some are very specific, like this is from Crota's End.
One of the things that I've been really wondering about is that we've seen the new ships for the factions, right? We've seen that all three factions have new ships. What I don't know is if the old ships will still be in the loot table, like if these new ships are going to be in addition to the old ships, or if they're a replacement for the old ships. And so I was kind of hoping that they would show the ships in the kiosk so we could actually see, is it still possible to get those old ships? Because you'll probably be able to see them in the collector, right? In the kiosk, but will you still be able to get them?
So let's apply that logic as far as the way that the other kiosks work. If you've found them in the past, you should be able to get them from your kiosk. But imagine if you're in a scenario where you never got that dead orbit ship that you'd been grinding for ever to get. And then Taken King comes out, and now it's part of the history of the game, never to be seen again, and only the people that had received it in the past could get it through their through the kiosk.
I really am hoping that that's not the case. That these new ships that we've seen are just like another level that you can get to, because they said they're going to be making it so you can work towards these rewards. Like I can get to this rank and then buy the ship or something like that. Or maybe the absolute top tier are the newest ships or something like that, because literally the second most popular question aside from like when's Mr. Fruit coming on the podcast is, are we going to get, or are we going to still be able to get the year one ships in Taken King? I really hope that's the case.
I believe you will be,
because I've wanted those ships.
You can see on the emblem collections. I mean, you see the Dark Below stuff, you see the House of Wolves stuff. I mean, you see year one items. So it only makes sense for them to still allow you to get other stuff, and especially with the packages now, how they're improving them and making it so you don't get repeats of stuff and all that kind. I mean, he said on the stream that you're going to be able to acquire every single ship, every single emblem, eventually. So I think you will be able to get that year one stuff.
Yeah, and there's going to be 2 playlists for the strikes, right? There's going to be a year 1 playlist and then a Taken King. So it would make sense that you would get those rewards from those year 1 playlists.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have a World of Warcraft anecdote I could get here, but you guys have made it clear that you wouldn't want to hear this one. And this is probably my most passionate World of Warcraft anecdote that I could give, so I will not. I'll leave it in the YouTube comments.
Wow.
Did you guys happen to see the new Future War Cult ship?
I didn't.
Oh my god, it's beautiful.
It's too loud for my taste. Future War Cult's just... We're the Future War Cult! And there's all these bright colors everywhere. I just want to be the gothic Dead Orbit guy standing in the corner with a beer supporting the wall at the party.
I do love my Dead Orbit ship. I love the Fermi solution, but that new ship from Future War Cult is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Briar, have you taken a look at New Monarchy?
Yeah.
Is it just me, or does the vendor, the guy that represents New Monarchy, look a lot like Triple Rick?
Whoa.
Executive Hideo?
Yeah, no, he does. That's
He looks
been
like
well
Triple
stated.
He does.
Yeah.
I never put that together.
Personally,
I
I
was-
think the Trials of Osiris vendor is the one that looks like Triple Rick.
Does he?
Because he, like, put a hood over Triple Rick's eyes, and, he has that ever so slight goatee, the thinner face. And it's like, the Trials of Osiris vendor is Triple Rick with a hood on.
I just like the the New Monarchy vendor, or the New Monarchy guy has that hat on that kind of looks like the bandana that that he wears all the time. I swear, it's even the color scheme of that's the in-game reincarnation of Triple Rick.
So our year 1 reputation will carry forward with the factions.
Yes, it will.
So factions also will have their own material exchange now. You can donate excess materials for free rep toward a given faction. So if you have extra materials, you can just
Is it really
pop 'em
free
in.
rep if you're having to donate it?
Okay, that's
really a
semantics,
free
but
meal?
whatever. You can upgrade your rep with extra materials. Maybe you have an excess of Spirit Bloom from the days of treasure key farming.
Well, I don't think you can. I don't think you can do it for Spirit Bloom, but it's armor materials, motes of light, weapon materials, and special and heavy ammo sense. But yeah,
I have a lot of special sense too.
Yeah.
Yes.
No kidding, right?
Yes, I do.
Factions also have rank-based quests. When you reach a certain rank, you may be tasked to complete a challenge for glory and rewards. That sounds cool.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It reminds me of exotic bounties.
I want there to be some story involved in that quest. I want to learn more about the faction itself while I'm completing this.
Do you so let's say they talked about pledging to a faction.
Yeah.
Did they talk about what that pledge meant? Is it just like, is it just words, or is there substance to that pledge?
Pledge for a week.
There's the pledge for a week, but there's a little bit like quip from each one of them. I can't remember what the Future War Cult one said, but the New Monarchy one is like, support New Monarchy. What separates us from the darkness? It's either our technology nor our strength in battle. It's our mind, civilization, and potential. Why else would the Traveler have chosen us? The last city can be more than a cradle of refugees. It cries out for a guiding hand that can bring out its best. That's from New Monarchy. Whereas the Dead Orbit one was like, we cannot stay here. We must, we are just sitting dead in orbit. We must expand back out into the stars, past the darkness. So yeah, when you pledge allegiance to a faction, if you actually read the text that's there, it looks like you're going to at least know what that faction stands for currently.
That'd be the first time we saw that in game, right?
Yes.
The only thing we know about the factions otherwise comes from the Grimoire.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool though? I mean, and I'm just guessing. I'm looking to the future. When we pledge to a faction, that like we get a quest line for it, and then in that quest line we learn more about it. Is that what you're talking about, Briar?
Yeah, that's what I'd like to see.
Yeah,
they
I
will have
agree.
quests though.
That would be.
We don't know exactly what's going to be involved with their quest, but they said on the stream that once you reach a certain level, maybe 5, 10, we don't know, but they're going to unlock different quests for you. So we'll probably be able to learn more about them.
Oh, that's going to be that. If that's true, that we get background history to the quests, to the factions, and we get to know more about them, and we get to be more committed. Other than just like the vanity of the color schemes and then which ship is better, it would be great to develop. I've always thought that and been an advocate of the factions being meaningful, and that at some point in Destiny's future we can have faction wars where you subscribe. You at the beginning of the week at the reset you subscribe to a faction, and all your XP earned goes towards your faction's overall point value, and then whichever faction wins the most XP, there will be everybody who's pledged to that faction could go get a reward at their vendor, right? That none of the other factions would get that week.
Sounds like what they did in PlanetSide. You guys thought I was going to say World of Warcraft. No, they did that in PlanetSide, where there's 3 factions, and whoever essentially could gain the most points over the course of a week ended up, everyone that was on that faction got some stuff that increased the amount of marks that they could gain.
Did you play it in PlanetSide?
What do you mean?
Because I've heard about systems like this, and I've heard that they're often one-sided, where basically
that's what they found out is that once a clear winner feels like it's being determined, then everybody piles onto that faction. So then
they stay with that faction. Yeah. So every week it's the same faction that wins.
Kind of. What ended up happening?
All they would need to do is just hide the reputation for each thing until the end of the week, so no one would know who's winning. And since you can't change your faction, you only can pick it once per week. You only can change it, that one time. I mean, it's not like people are going to be able to easily switch or gain the system. I mean, they could do, if they went with that, which obviously this is all just speculation and guessing. I mean, this isn't coming with Taken King, but maybe in the future, they could easily do this, and not have those same issues just by hiding that stuff.
If they don't talk about who's in the lead and who's catching up, though, I think it would ruin some of the excitement.
But, got to do what you got to do.
Well, and there's ways of breaking the info. They don't have to be very clear about it, but they could mention some of them are having leads or getting more excitement, more additions are going that direction, and then just like you're saying, keep the actual results until the end of the reveal. But I think the same thing happened in Mortal Kombat. Everybody chose the Sub-Zero's faction.
Yeah.
And I haven't kept up with it, so I don't know if it's continued to be that way.
What if piggybacking on that idea, but looking at it from another direction, what if you had anybody who wanted to participate in that war that week had to choose their faction by the end, like within 24 hours, right? So in order to participate, you had to be from the reset until Wednesday at whatever. You had to choose a faction, and then you could participate in that week's war. That would keep people. You would have to commit up front.
Mm-hmm. Would the war only be in PvP, or would it be in PvE as well?
Well, I think that could be part of what would make it interesting, right? Weekly faction wars could have like weekly themes to them, right? Mm-hmm. You could say Vault of Glass runs, or PvE or PvP to generalize it, or more specifically, if you wanted to say, the most Spirit Bloom gathered, to be really lame, just have very specific faction wars that would be changing on the weekly reset, and making
most headshots could go for PvP or PvE.
Thank you. A stat. There's a ton of stats that they can track in this game. Mm-hmm. So let's
who jumped the most.
Right, the most airtime,
jumped the most. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then for a week straight, you see everybody bouncing around like bunnies everywhere.
I like it.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways they could go with that. I like the idea.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So another thing about factions is that they're redoing the reward system as well, so you'll never get the duplicates anymore.
Yep.
So
I think we talked about that earlier.
Once you've earned something like the Fermi solution, you won't get it again. You don't have to worry about just system. Right. And now the next time you do get a drop, it'll be something you don't have, like the Revenant shader.
Yep.
That's great.
That's awesome. Yeah,
It seems like that currently is the grindiest of the grind right now. Is like trying to get stuff out of the factions. That's where you're going to put the most time in if you really want that stuff.
Plus, it means like once you get that one, it's unlocked for all of your characters too.
Yeah.
So you can just get one for all of your characters now. You don't have to go, oh, now I have to get 2 more Revenant shaders or 2 more Fermi solutions for my other characters so I can look good on everything.
Yeah. See, what's great is it adds to that gotta catch 'em all flavor to it, to where before, you knew about these things, you could go for them, and the only people that would really care are people who understood the system as well. Be like, oh yeah, and that's rare because I know it's rare because I read up on it, then I saw it on Reddit or PlanetDestiny.com. Now you'll be able to see it and be like, oh, I want that, and I know how to get it now. And I know we talked about that before on this, but now that they're bringing in this RNG system where they're tracking what you've already got, it's going to make it much more possible to catch them all and have that RPG aspect to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had people ask me on stream, what shader is that? And I tell them it's a faction shader, and they're like, oh, I'll never get it.
Yeah.
I think we all have felt that about certain faction gear.
Yeah. Let's see what...
Patrick, you want to talk about the Crucible?
I would love to talk about the Crucible. I love the Crucible. So first up, there's going to be Crucible quests, and they're introducing it in the same way they're doing the story. So if you are a PvP-focused player, you boot up Destiny, there's a Crucible Forge quest line that will teach you all about the Crucible. It'll teach you, here's how to cap points, here's how the score works, and there's also going to be a new bounty system for the Crucible where you can complete these 5 bounties. It'll unlock the 5th bounty, and then you can claim the rewards for it. There's going to be new ghost shells exclusive to Crucible that will give kind of Crucible centered perks. You're going to have the normal, like there's one that on all these legendary ones that'll be like, okay, this will increase the intellect on the shell, or this will increase the discipline on the ghost shell.
Which is cool all by itself. Just being able to select which of those you need.
But then there's also something called like Titan Bounty. Generate additional glimmer from killing Titans in the Crucible. So, a little bit of extra way to help you grind glimmer if you prefer to just play the Crucible, which is something that I think that's been sorely lacking. What if you are that Iron Banner player? You really just want to, play Iron Banner all the time. Oh, well, I hope I can get enough glimmer from massacring all those players.
Or get used to the exclusion zone.
Yeah, and then you have to go to the exclusion zone and, aka, not do PvP.
I think they learned from their mistake about the PvE bonuses on the PvP gear. Like a lot of the Iron Banner gear had, PvE bonuses, and now for the first time we've got actual Crucible specific bonuses like this. And obviously there's going to be tons more that we haven't even seen or know about, but that's really cool.
There was some other armor that we saw. I can't remember where it was, but it was like there was reactive and defensive perks on it. Where it's like, okay, so if you take solar damage for the next 5 seconds after that, you'll have increased recovery. Or and then there was another one that was was it just not take less damage from solar. So it wasn't like a solar shield, but it was
I think you take
increase your armor.
Instead of taking 3x damage in a Nightfall, you take 2x damage with arc.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
does that apply to the Crucible also?
I really hope not.
You don't
not.
take.
But here's the thing.
Elemental damage in the Crucible.
You don't.
Well,
this is what the solar armor one. It said increased armor when using a solar-based subclass, and that was on the Warlock one.
Oh, okay.
So that would apply in the Crucible. That apply everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
And in Mayhem, you are definitely going to be dealing a lot of Arc Void and solar damage. So that's why it makes me think if some of these are Mayhem-centric type of armor pieces that they're bringing in for that would help in that game type, because if you get hit by the solar hammer all the time and then you suddenly get a recovery boost because you're taking solar damage.
God, it's a good thing they're giving us more vault space, because this gear is going to become so specific.
You said it too early. We're gonna wait until the end, like they did on Bungie's stream.
Gotta keep it a secret.
I already said it. I said it like a half hour ago.
Keep it.
Hold out on the surprise.
I like how it's you could definitely identify Crucible gear now. Like you get those Seattle Seahawks colors, the green and the blue. Like that, you're going to be able to tell right away in the tower. Is this guy a Crucible guy? Is this guy a PvP guy or a PvE guy? Like what does he prefer playing? Maybe he's got a mixture of both. You could tell that he likes playing both. That is cool. Like, I've always hoped that there would be more separation in gear between the two and that it'd be identifiable visually. So you could actually represent what you like to do in the game while you're roaming around the tower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's something that Iron Banner always failed at, because some of my best Iron Banner gear was best because it was good PvE gear.
Yeah, it was good
like
raid
Ryan
gear.
said earlier. Yeah, it was great for the raid. And then I never used it inside PvP.
Okay, so we could probably talk about the mark system here, right? Because we're getting ready to get to the end of the collection part. The mark system, they are getting rid of the Vanguard and Crucible marks, and they are just going for a collective legendary marks on everything. And the great thing about this is you can earn an infinite amount of them in the week.
Right,
But
you'll have a cap at 200.
a cap at 200, so you'll want to spend them
and then keep earning them for the rest of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Very smart.
And you,
Very
unfortunately,
smart move.
the current cap is 200 on the Crucible side and on the PvE side. So you're really taking a loss here. The only gain you're getting is that you can spend your marks.
You're taking a massive loss, actually, because the marks are now shared across all characters, like your Glimmer. So you can't.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
So you can't just play. You can't just be like, oh well, I have 200 marks on my Warlock. No, you have marks across all characters now.
But here's the thing: you can only gain marks one at a time. Meaning, like, you can't play all three characters at the same time. So you could technically hit 100 marks and then go spend them if you're aware of it, and then just keep on top of your limit.
Oh yeah,
this feels specifically designed for those guys that on day one of the Taken King, they had all their marks, filled up. They had I'm sorry, not the Taken King, but the
House of
the
Wolves.
previous two DLCs.
House of Wolves. Yep.
They had all their rep built up, so just one bounty would flip their rep to get them a new package, right? It was just like all of these things they had all perfectly lined up. This feels like it's a specific limit on that kind of activity.
Yeah, definitely.
I did that.
I did too.
I was 31 that day.
I didn't, because I was like, I'm just gonna wait until there's going to be this whole long gap between content, and you know what? I'm okay with not going full bore right at the start.
Mm-hmm.
As far as conversion goes, they kind of talked about this in the weekly update. It says that when the Taken King is released, blocks of 50 Vanguard and Crucible marks will be converted into one reputation consumable. So if you've got, let's say, 200 of each, then you're going to get 4 reputation consumables, and that's just going to, boom, 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 Vanguard and Crucible rep, just like that. So that
8 per character if you're maxed out.
And at this point, I don't have anything to spend those on, so it just always stays maxed out.
Yep.
So that'll be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also they're making it so the legendary marks are a material you use to upgrade with as well. So you're going to go through them a lot. And I think that's another reason why they're not limiting it, because if they did a weekly limit, then they would technically limit your ability to upgrade your gear. So they have to make it so it's infinite, but you have the 200 cap. So it makes sense. I mean, you just have to stay on top of it, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think the main difference is you're just not going to be able to store it, right? Is you're going to have to use it, get it, use it, get it.
You can't stockpile it for the winter. Can't be burying those nuts.
See what else we got. Should we move on to the exotic collections, guys?
I think this one is important. I mean, all right. So essentially, there's going to be 2 new kiosks in the tower, and in these kiosks, one of them will have all the exotic armor you've ever earned, right? And you can pull armor out of this thing at any time. So does anybody know if it's going to be the best armor you've ever gotten? So, like, let's talk about the Void Fang vestments for just a half a second.
Yeah,
if you have gotten Void Fang vestments with an absolute perfect roll on them, is that going to be the version of the Void Fang vestments that are in the blueprint forever? It
looks like they're changing that completely. And I think that's part of the infusion system, isn't it? Where you infuse it to get a better roll or increase the increase the defense, which would also technically increase some of the stat values. At least I'm assuming. I might be completely off on that. But when they were showing the Light Beyond Nemesis, it had like, I think it was 27 strength, something ridiculously low.
It's 27 and 28, and 160 defense. Well, it's going to be 170, but they said that what was shown on the stream and what it's going to be is equivalent to what it is now. They're reducing all the numbers so it doesn't get like 500 strength.
They're adjusting.
You know what I'm saying?
Got it.
So 28
That
makes
strength,
sense.
or whatever it's going to be when Taken King starts for a base non-upgraded Light Beyond Nemesis, not even the new upgraded one, just the standard one that everyone's going to have. That's going to be equivalent to what you've got now. But it looks like that the strength value, or the values, the discipline, whatever, it looks like it's going to be the same for everybody. If you've got one, if I've got one, if everyone's got one, they're all going to be the same, but the infusion is what's going to randomize that roll. At least that's what I think.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it looked like to me,
That
too.
makes sense.
So it would give the reason to actually use Infusion and the reason to go seek out more exotics and to get the ability to increase those stats. So if you have a really, really high roll on that Light Beyond Nemesis, you put some effort into it. Like you really spent time. At least that's what I'm assuming is going to be the case.
Sense. So anyway, they're going to be these blueprints. And they're kind of like a kiosk that you can pull old armor out of. So you don't necessarily have to hold on to your Light Beyond Nemesis all the time. You can, if you're running out of storage space on your Warlock, you can delete it, go back to the kiosk, pull it back out again, and you're fine there. I don't know if it'll come out fully upgraded. Like the bubbles are all filled in. It kind of looked like it wouldn't.
It does not.
No.
Okay, so you're probably not going to want to delete it, but if you do, it's okay. It's still there. If, for instance, you're on a live stream, you delete a whole character, your exotics.
They
are
make a
still
point.
there.
They make a point that you shouldn't use it like a vault. You shouldn't use it as like, oh well, I don't have space, I'm just going to delete all this stuff. I mean, if you do that, you're going to have to spend some currency to get it back and upgrade it, and it should be like a last resort type thing to dismantle that. But at least if you do dismantle it and get rid of it for whatever reason,
it's not gone forever.
And this is one of my biggest criticisms of what we're seeing coming out. I don't like that the exotics come out unupgraded.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So
At least for the armor side of things, because for weapons I kind of understand it. You have your one that you can toss around to characters. If you want another, then you can upgrade it. But
I don't know, Patrick. I guess I feel like if it's not a vault, but a trophy case, right?
Yeah.
That's what they kind of said it was. It's a place to a collection. Well, if I'm gonna follow that mindset, if I'm gonna follow that logic, then you don't. If you're a big game hunter and you're going out to mount and that's your thing, and you're gonna mount something on your wall at home, you're not gonna mount like some three small deer that you catch in the shrubs.
A replica. You're not going to mount a replica.
You're not going to mount something that's like a low version of it, right? You're going to want to mount the most impressive version of what you got, right? And
but I think you're thinking about this wrong. I mean, this is called the blueprints. These are just, they're blueprints. The vault should be used as your trophy case.
No, so see, that's where I know what they're doing, but I disagree with their philosophy of what they're doing. I don't think that it should be blueprints of your exotics. I think it should be, because they're mixing the signals here. They talk about it as like a trophy case, a collection. Well, then I think it should be only fully upgraded exotics that show that you've done your due diligence. You've mastered that weapon, and you've fully ranked it up. And once it's fully ranked up, you can put it in. Then it shows up in your collection. So
yeah.
I believe philosophically that they should make the kiosks places where fully upgraded weapons can then be brought back out fully upgraded. and that it solves two birds with one stone. It frees up your inventory in your vault.
Exactly. Yep.
And it also changes the dynamic of those kiosks and makes them places where, it gives you a purpose to rank up that Monte Carlo or that, the hard light, something that maybe you wouldn't have tried before. Now you want it to be represented in your collection, so you give it a shot. You say, okay, well, I'm going to rank this thing up and see what it's like. And then when you get to that fully ranked up version of it, you're like, you know what? I'm not really a fan of it. So you delete it, but you know that if you're ever going to need it again, you can go back to your collection for a small fee, maybe an exotic shard, right?
I think that's what it is. It's an exotic shard.
Exactly.
Right now it's an exotic shard.
Right, so that's a fee, right? So for a fee, you get your blueprint of your gun, your maxed out whatever, back to you. And I believe that the more that when people, if this is what it is, the way it is right now is when it releases, when people get in there and they play it, they're going to find that their take on what this kiosk system is going to be, the way that they're describing it is going to be frustrating for me when I go in there. I'm not going to want to put anything in. You know what I mean?
No, it's going to be useless in most situations. Really, I can't think of any reason I would use this other than to just duplicate something.
The only reason why it's there, in my opinion, under the current system, is if the example that Deech gave in the live stream, if your dog sat on your controller and held down the delete button and deleted your gun, oh well, you can always pull it out of the blueprint. The only harm that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to re-rank it up. I think that's a pretty lame, and I'm going to be very vocal about this. I think that's a pretty lame version of something that could be pretty cool. If it's in the tower, it's a great idea. It's taking up the
system is
space.
almost there. It's almost there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it is the way that they're describing it here and the way they described it in the live stream, I think that it's missing the mark of what the players are going to want. And if we see kiosks like this, why can't we see a kiosk with Grimoire in it? I mean, there's so many ways that these kiosks can be valuable, and I don't think that a simple, oh shit, like I accidentally deleted my exotic, oh, well, I can go back to the kiosk and find it, is a really good value for, what it is. Just my opinion.
Now, if you're right, Pope, if they were fully upgraded, they'd be so much more useful because you could just pull it out on a new character. Like, I don't really feel like using the Destiny app. I'll just grab another one and go out and do the raid because I'm here at the tower. I could just grab another Suros. I can grab, it's just be so much more useful if they're already upgraded. But now, since they're not upgraded, I don't see the use of this much at all.
Yeah, it's literally only there if, oops, I accidentally deleted that. Okay.
Yeah, oops, or you want to keep track of what you're missing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool to look at it, but you'll look at it once or twice, and then you're going to be kind of done.
I completely agree. I think it's a bandage over a hemorrhaging wound. There's a whole lot of collectors out there that want 7 times the vault space. I think for you it's frustrating for people to have such an opportunity. They're going to see these kiosks as a wasted opportunity, and I think I'm gonna gauge now that when Taken King comes out, that this is going to be one of the most talked about topics on our forums and on the Bungie forums and on Reddit, in my opinion.
Because it's just not going to get used. Like in its current system, I don't see it getting used.
It pisses people off when you have a wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
It's so close. It's almost there, and it's going to be people are going to be slapping their forehead with the palm of their hand going, what?
So would you say the requirement to get it into the blueprint station kiosk would be that it's fully leveled up, both armor and weapons?
Yeah, they call it.
I'm sorry. Yeah, like if you hit that last upgrade bubble and send it or whatever you need to, and then like a little thing comes across on the bottom says added to the blueprint kiosk.
Right. I think that you are. That's a reward for fully upgrading a gun. because what they're
Yeah,
doing, they're giving you the useful perks right off the bat, right? This is one way of incentivizing people trying out different pieces of armor, fully ranking them up, and making them available to them in the future if they as a player evolve or change the way that they play, or that they want to take something and use it at a different time because their play styles have changed over time. I just think that it's more player centric to look at it as a trophy case than a simple blueprint storage device.
Yeah, I
You've
agree
won
with
me
you.
over, Pope.
I agree with you. I mean,
You're going to be hard pressed to find anyone who doesn't like, or who disagrees with you there, because
no one wants to level up something they already leveled before.
exactly.
No.
Yeah. No.
Especially guys.
Bungie,
who live
respect the
through-
time that we put into this, and yada yada. Yeah.
Well, like how many guns that are pieces of armor do you have that you had to level up twice already? You know,
Mhm.
Yeah.
with the Dark
Yeah.
Below, that was a grind to level up all those exotics the second time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Ugh.
Well,
brutal.
I'd love for this concept to be fully expanded in the in the tower, where you go into this area of the tower, and there's a hologram device, a holographic device, where you can access your Grimoire, and it will goes into a menu, and it tells you where you can find the item that you're missing. It gives you an idea of all the Grimoire you have and which ones you're missing, and when you hover over it, it said can be found doing this activity. They've shown that they can do it. They show that they have the way to do it.
Technology.
Right.
DestinyGhostHunter.net says, "Hold on there, Pope. Let's not get it out of control."
Yeah.
I know, but
Whoa there, Pope Bear.
we're
Easy.
taking a page from Apple with their iPhones, right? You see them put out a solid device that has apps that are built into it that they've made. They allow third-party vendors to push the limits of their devices, and then the next iteration of the phone, lo and behold, what is an Apple app that comes in? It's one of the third-party apps done better. Every update to the game should be a reflection of the community's ingenuity and pushing forward of the limits of what the game's data, and they should be investigating that and going, okay, well, the community is hitting up this way of getting information in a big way. Let's make this more accessible in game and make that a priority.
That's what Blizzard did with WoW. I mean, so I think Bungie definitely needs to take that aspect towards this specific thing as well.
Pope, I think this is a phenomenal idea. I think we need to get in front of Bungie talking about this so that we could see this get added for the next DLC or update 2.1 or whatever it is, because it's just, once you pointed it out, it just seems completely obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you started saying it, I was like, oh, but, and then all these reasons, and I was like, oh my god, obviously.
Yeah.
Especially thinking if you have leveled it up already. Well, yeah, it's so obvious. Why make us level it up again? It's starting to annoy me now.
So I'm so pissed.
Well, and I think that's why we're here, right? We are here to take the I come from a really strong Bungie, Halo, Call of Duty background. I know we all come from a very diverse, I think Patrick comes from a WoW background, if I'm not mistaken.
You shut your mouth. No,
really?
I don't.
Sure.
So, I mean, I think that's why we're here, as to be to reflect what the community is hoping for out of the game and really push Bungie to make these changes, because they're slowly making the game that we want to play, and we gotta jump on these things. And a lot of what the Taken King so far, what they've put out, sounds really exciting and really amazing, and I'm really happy at the direction they're taking things. So I just want them to keep that progression and not let off the gas pedal with them. We may be seeing
Absolutely.
a great game coming out, but let's stay focused on what we can always improve. All right, guys. I gotta take off. My jobby job is taking me away, and while I'd love to talk Destiny all night, I gotta go make a living. So I really appreciate you guys jumping on and talking about this. This has been really fun. I think we're in for some really great podcasts coming up. So,
definitely,
yeah.
man.
Absolutely.
So obviously this has been Pope Bear, and you can find me at Pope Bear on Twitter. And I took a little break to work on a special project for a week or so you didn't see me streaming, but obviously you can find me on our Twitch channel, the PlanetDestiny Twitch channel, and I'm going to be picking up days again there and playing with you guys. So I really look forward to that. All right. Thank you very much, guys, and have a really good night.
Later, Pope.
Later, Pope.
Later, Pope.
All right. So moving back into some of the other stuff in that system, we did get to see some of the new exotics. Even though we don't like the system, we don't really like this collection system for the exotics specifically. We did get to see some cool stuff, like Light Beyond Nemesis.
Well, can we talk about how we get the year 2 stuff first?
Yeah, go for it.
So the year 2 stuff, if you have a year 1 exotic that can be upgraded, and not all year 1 exotics can be upgraded, but if you do have one that has that ability, you can basically buy the year 2 version.
Yeah.
From inside this blueprint kiosk.
For
right?
For example, if you have Light Beyond Nemesis, you can buy the year 1 version again, or you can also buy the year 2 version with legendary marks. It costs 125 legendary marks to pick up the year 2 version of Light Beyond Nemesis.
Right, the new Suros, the black version of the Suros regime will be 150 legendary marks.
Yep.
So they'll be expensive.
They will,
but
the
perks on these things are incredible.
Fortunately, the new legendary mark system makes it easy to actually get these marks for the most part. So it's not like you're only going to be getting one a week. If you really want to, I imagine you'll be able to get multiples of these in a week.
Yeah, depending on the grind level.
Yeah.
Like
that's very exciting.
The new Suros regime thing, it looks like it has pretty much the exact same base stats as Suros regime, but where focus fire is, it's taking the design choices of the new Suros weapons and allowing you to pick between either focus fire, which slows down the fire, or spinning up, which means the longer the weapon's fired, the faster it fires, kind of like Thunderlord in a way.
If you could have designed a perfect Suros regime, I believe this would have been in it.
Yeah. Plus,
right? Being able to turn off focus fire was on everybody's wish list for the Suros regime.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, you had people using just they would get smart drift control on it. They would just get the muzzle upgrade perks and then never touch a single other thing.
I had 2 Suros regimes forever, and one of them was exactly what you just described.
Yep.
And I preferred it over the fully upgraded one for PvP.
Yeah, I believe it.
But now you'll be able to upgrade it all the way and then select which version or which perks you want to make this truly a customized weapon just for you. And that's not the only one. There's 2 more bubbles at the end that you can switch between too. I can't remember what those perks were, though.
It looks like Hammer Forged and Agility. So you'll be taking Hammer Forged. Grats.
You know, that's fantastic. This thing is going to be a beast. With the new auto rifle upgrade, I'm really looking forward to being able to use the Suros regime again in PvP and in PvE.
Definitely.
Do you think it's going to sound different? The black
I hope not.
No?
Maybe they'll bring back the year 1 version sound.
The year 1 tink, tink, tink.
Ping, 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 tink, 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 ping. I hated that noise. Oh, God, it was so bad. We also got to see, like, he moused over Necrochasm for, like, 2 frames, and we got to see the new stats on that. So it still has the completely maxed out rate of fire and no impact and no range, but the stability got jacked up on it. Like, it is...
That's awesome.
It's way higher.
That's what that needs.
I think the reload is about the same, but the magazine size is now 54 on it.
Nice.
And then it has the precision kills with this weapon trigger a Curse Thrall explosion. So instead of a chance to trigger a Curse Thrall explosion, thank God. And then it looks like Rangefinder got replaced with Zen Moment. So even more stability.
Yeah,
that thing's going to be a monster.
Yeah, I'm excited about using Necrochasm again, and also I think they said that they were increasing the explosion size too.
And damage, I believe, because
the damage and
those I think they just basically copied Firefly for the actual stats of the explosion, and Firefly is based off of the weapon's impact for the most part. So that's why you see sniper rifles doing godly damage with Firefly.
Yeah. Yep.
and
yeah, I was
as
in
well.
Crucible using the Necrochasm and got the Curse Thrall explosion to happen right next to somebody, and he just like flinched him a little bit.
It's like 15 damage. And you're like,
kidding me?
Okay, wow.
It's so cool when it happens, and then so underwhelming when it's right next to somebody.
I mean, even Icebreaker, I'm landing body shots, and that's triggering for like 35 damage on someone standing next to him. So then I just get to body shot them again, and then if there's more people, I'll just screw headshots, going for body shots now.
We also got a pretty good look at the Light Beyond Nemesis year 2 version. I thought it was interesting that they changed the stats from strength to intellect and discipline.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too.
Also, that main perk, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but the main perk,
the intrinsic perk to it,
yeah, is it Strength of the Wolf? I think it's not called that.
It's not called that, but it's the same thing.
Basically, allows you to revive people faster.
And
it's now going to be unlocked right off the bat, which is great. So as soon as you get that, you can start using it, and then as you use it more, obviously more perks will open up, and it's got more perks than the year 1 version did. So like all of these new year 2 versions of kind of stuff we're kind of familiar with now are going to get upgrades, and we've seen a bunch of them now. We've seen that there's going to be a new Last Word, there's going to be a new Red Death, the Suros,
Hawkmoon,
Thunderlord, Bad Juju, Truth. We know there's not going to be a Gjallarhorn.
Yeah,
they said that today in the
there will
weekly
not
update.
be a new Thorn. Thank God.
I'm a little disappointed by that. I liked the Thorn so much back in the day, and I still like using it for PvE. It makes me sad that it got so overused in PvP that it's now got this
You're
bad
digging yourself a
reputation.
very shallow grave.
Whatever, I don't care. I think it's one of the most exotic looking guns. It's one of the most exotic feeling guns in the game. It just makes me kind of sad.
For people who do want to use it, I mean, it's still going to be extremely powerful in normal Crucible. Control and zone control, Rift. I mean, all those playlists are gonna. I mean, you're gonna see tons of Thorn, no doubt. The Trials and Iron Banner, I mean, maybe it's not going to be as useful because, it's going to be 170 attack and you're going up against 280 attack or whatever, and level advantages might sway people from using it, but it's going to be prevalent in PvP, no doubt. I'm kind of surprised that it's not going to be, I mean, you would think they'd want to be, Bungie would want people to use it in PvE and not so much, PvP, but I guess...
The thing that I'm really afraid of, sorry if we're going to change topics, but you kind of got me thinking. The thing that I'm really afraid of is that there's going to be these awesome new game modes coming in for PvP. You have Rift, you have Mayhem, you have Zone Control coming in, and people are still going to use like the Thorn, the OP shotguns, most likely. I'm calling it. They're going to probably use that. And people that are just now coming in, people that maybe they just start playing during the Taken King, they won't be able to get some of those really broken shotguns. They won't be able to get some of those weapons.
Well, hopefully the update 2.0 is going to pull back on how good those are.
I really hope that's the case, but I'm mainly just worried about Thorn, truthfully, because of the way dots work, and I've talked about that endlessly on the podcast. I'm hoping...
I'm more worried about the shotguns. The shotguns right now are just unbelievably ridiculous.
Yeah, shotgun distance is just insane.
Yeah,
the nerf can't come soon enough.
Yeah, I don't play Crucible unless it's Trials or Iron Banner right now. I find no joy in it.
Then you should know about Thorn.
What's that?
Then you should know all about Thorn and shotguns. Because that's all that you see.
I do. That's why I don't play.
He uses Thorn.
Oh yeah, he likes it.
I liked the old version of Thorn. I liked the way... I like the lore behind it. I think it's one of the coolest, most exotic of the exotic guns.
Definitely.
So many of the exotic weapons just kind of have... they're cool looking, I guess. Thorn looks like a completely different model than any other hand cannon in the game.
Mm-hmm. It's the sound of it.
It's got everything about it just feels different than everything else. Plus, it's got all this lore behind it. I'll be super surprised if in the next DLC or the DLC after that, we don't see more of the year 1 stuff get upgraded to year 2 levels. And I would be shocked if Thorn isn't one of those guns. I'd be shocked.
Oh, so you think in DLCs they might bring forward some of these weapons?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't think about that. It's a good possibility. You are right. The lore behind it, like you go and bathe it in light in Crucible, and warlocks give you more of that light that you bathe it in, which is really, I mean, it is amazing. And I would be kind of sad to see people not get to experience that bounty.
Yeah. It was the best bounty of year one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not like
by far.
It's not like the bounty's going away or anything. I mean,
Bounty's not going away. It's just I want it to stop existing.
The thing is, I don't think people are going to go through the bounty if let's say it's year 3 and Thorn is still year 1. I don't think people are going to even give it the thought to go through the bounty to get that weapon,
unless it's still good in the Crucible or something.
Yeah, unless it's still good in the Crucible, exactly. But
the changes they made to it, I think, are going to make it better in PvE. But if it stays year 1 power, nobody's going to care.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be able to 2-shot anymore with it in the Crucible. It's not a 2-tap.
Well, maybe 3-shot.
That already makes a huge difference. Not being able to 2-tap with it.
Yeah.
So
should we move on? The Cryptarch got.
Before we move on, can we talk about like we
World
know.
of Warcraft.
I went over the list of what I think we know are going to be the weapons that get upgraded. But what about the weapons like Thorn, like Gjallarhorn that aren't? Like, are you guys like super upset about this? Do you care really?
Oh yeah,
I've made a case for caring about Thorn. Like, I've already made that case. But Gjallarhorn, obviously, people are really upset that it's getting nerfed. Now it's not even going to get moved into year 2 power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What was the bet that we had with Gjallarhorn, by the way?
I believe it's a week after the Taken King comes out, Xur would sell it.
Okay.
Everybody thought that I won the bet because he sold it last week, but that wasn't
that wasn't the bet. So.
I was close.
Yeah.
And the spirit of the bet may have been won.
Yes.
That's true, with the knowledge back then of not knowing that Gjallarhorn wasn't going to go forward.
So I've got a lot of questions about, it's basically the same question from every single person. I've seen this at least 20, 30 times. Like, why did they nerf this? Why did they nerf that? Why are they changing, Gjallarhorn, Thorn, whatever, if it's just going to be left behind? Like, if it's going to be useless. People are saying it's going to be useless now. And it's yes and no, because it's still going to be extremely useful in all year 1 content. So if you want to do Vault of Glass, Crota's End, anything like that, it's still going to perform exactly how it does right now, just as good.
Mm-hmm.
And PvP, like we were talking about in PvP, I mean, Thorn's going to be everywhere. There's no doubt about it. But it's just not going to be as useful, especially, when you're just starting out, maybe so, but especially once you're kind of in the end game and you've got all the good weapons. I mean, you're not going to be using year 1 weapons just because they're not going to hit as hard. And I don't know. I mean, is that useless? I mean, what do y'all think? Because they've still got half of the game, I mean, for people, you got to keep in mind, let's say I'm a day 1 player, not a day 1 player, sorry. I'm just starting this today. I just picked up Destiny and I've never played before, and I get Gjallarhorn as a drop. I mean, and let's say I'm, level 20 or whatever. I mean, I've got a long way to go until I'm level 40 and getting that new stuff from year 2. I'm still going to be in that year 1 era of Vault of Glass, Crota's End for a good little bit. So Gjallarhorn for me is going to be pretty useful. I mean, I'm going to be using it for pretty much everything until I get something better, which, who knows when that could be. So it's really a matter of perspective of where you are in the game, and if you're going to be level 34 when Taken King comes out and 40 a few days later, a few weeks later, I mean, yeah, it's going to be pretty useless to you because you're going to be in year 2 content and not even worrying about Vault of Glass. But the other thing,
Mm-hmm.
I could rationalize this before. Go ahead, Tefty.
Well, my perspective on it is, being a year 1 player and starting out in September, I would hate to go into King's Fall and then find out that the best way to defeat Oryx is to burn him with Gjallarhorn. That would be soul crushing. I'd be like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm still doing this a year later. So from the perspective of that, I want to have the new meta, both in a PvE environment and in a PvP environment. So both evolve and continue to have new experiences. And I think that's the thing that people need to really keep in mind and hope for the best on, because we can't see it. There's a lot of scarcity to it and a lot of fear that it's not going to be fun or good or anything like that. But the fact is, a new meta means things are going to evolve, and these weapons that we currently have that are going to get phased out, are just that. They're going to become these times where it was fun to use the Gjallarhorn to burn Atheon down, but now we got Oryx and whatever new thing, whether it's the sleeper stimulant that all 6 of us use and burn them on or whatever. It's going to be fun to discover that, and there's a whole new discovery that's going to happen, and all these new players are going to be able to come in and also help with that discovery because they're kind of on a similar starting platform. Sure, we have all these materials, and we also have year 2 exotics that we can go buy from the blueprints, but now other people have a chance to help discover that meta that's going to evolve. And that's exciting. So I personally am thrilled that changes are happening because I don't want to burn Oryx with a Gjallarhorn. That would just suck.
My thing with I'm going to agree with you there, Tefty. My thing with why are they still nerfing, why are they still changing some things? You have to look at the new light level system that's going in place, where it's basically an average of all the gear you currently have equipped. Well, what if you still, I think we were talking about this in one of our other articles, where what if you stack up you get the best possible gear, and then you're like, hey, I'm going to still toss on my old Gjallarhorn because it's going to average out to still be better than anything currently out there.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm not 100% sure about.
Yeah.
What I had thought is that, your light, let's say you've got 280 legendary armor, 280 primary and special weapon, and then you've got your Gjallarhorn, which is 170. So your average light is going to be, 250, let's just say. And so that, just because of that, I mean, that might not boost your Gjallarhorn's power up. That might only... it's so hard without actually knowing to speculate because I don't want to say something and just be way off base. But I wouldn't think about it like that. I think if you've got a 170 attack weapon, even if you've got high light on everything else, high defense and high attack on everything else, it's still going to perform poorly just because it's that low.
That would make sense to me.
Because there was just to give people context, like, what are they talking about? On Reddit, there was a kind of a speculation topic of this guy who was like, because if you look at the definition for light, let me just see if I can find it real quick. It basically says that, well, I can't find it, but light basically is a representation of how powerful you are. So if you're, 180 light, then you're going to do 180 level damage, and then if you're, say, 280 light, you're going to do 280 level damage. But that's just because it's taken, I think what it's saying is it's just taking all of your stuff and averaging it together and just kind of giving you an idea of where you're at, but not so much of you can have good armor.
That's the way it's worked though, right, Ryan? Is that in the past, if you were level 30, if you had a light level of 30 and you had a 300 attack weapon, when you upgraded your light level to 31, your 300 attack weapon would now do more damage.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that's I think that's what this guy is saying is.
We don't know if it's going to work that way in the future or if there's a change.
I still think that at least for when you're just starting out, like 35, 36, 37, level those kind of beginning levels and not quite the end game, I think Gjallarhorn, G-Horn is going to be. I mean, it's going to be fine. I don't think people are going to be complaining too much. But like you were saying, Tefty, just so we don't get all these numbers and people are like, what are they talking about? People are going to want to use this new stuff. I guarantee you when we see all these new exotics and we start getting that collecting mentality, because no one has that right now. Everyone has everything. Xur is not important. I mean, everyone is just kind of...
Well, a lot of people still don't have stuff.
Well, I mean,
the people in this podcast, we have everything.
Yeah. For the majority of the people, at least our listeners that are kind of the more hardcore fans, I mean, they're just not looking forward to anything. And I think the revitalization of that kind of new exotics and new experiences and how all these things are going to work, I mean, I think it's just going to be really exciting. We're going to want to use the new stuff because it's going to be cool. Exactly. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and also part of the nerfs might be that they just don't like the fact that you can take down Atheon that fast with Gjallarhorn.
Yeah, well, I'm sure.
And maybe they want it so that that year one content isn't as easy with that year one rocket launcher, just as a base right there. So there might be those reasonings behind those nerfs as well for the why do they nerf this if they're not going to bring it forward type argument. But the guys, the main thing is the excitement for the new meta is very real. Very, very real. We just aren't in it right now, so it's tough to feel it.
I wonder if the weapons that are getting brought into year 2, the exotics that are getting brought into year 2, is a reaction to the current meta too. You know, the reason that Thorn isn't coming is because people are so pissed about Thorn right now. The reason Gjallarhorn isn't coming is because we're just burning through any content they can put in front of us with Gjallarhorn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wonder
Guaranteed.
if it's a real reaction to the current meta, and if we were doing this and the meta was still that Suros Regime was the most badass gun in the Crucible, then the Suros Regime wouldn't be getting upgraded.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. I think they're looking at what are some exotics that aren't as powerful, aren't as, people aren't looking for. I mean, no one's looking for Light Beyond Nemesis, maybe for trials, but other than that, I mean, it's, you don't see many people with that. And same with a lot of these other ones that are getting upgraded, like Suros, So I think they're taking a lot of these that people just aren't getting, a lot of them that just aren't getting a lot of love, and upgrading them and revitalize them so people are like, wow, I've never used that, but now I'm going to because it's got this and that,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Honestly, even though this Black Suros Regime looks awesome and I can't wait to use it, I'm more excited for the brand new exotics, right? And I'm a little concerned. We got quoted a number. There'd be about 30 new exotics in the Taken King.
What was it? They said it would be around 20 new weapons or something like that.
Yeah, something.
Okay,
like that.
I'm worried that these year 2 upgrades are part of that number, and I think they are. Because if you look at the empty slots, like there's not as many of them as I would have liked to see.
So, do you think they're showing everything on that blueprint?
Yeah, no, I mean I don't.
I mean, they're showing the empty slots,
right? They're showing empty slots, but do you think I mean, RPG 101, you show a little bit of the breadcrumb, and then the idea is that there's more breadcrumb that gets revealed as you progress. So maybe maybe it's more exotic quest lines that unlock that stuff, that give you the option to start seeing it in the blueprints or something.
So, like, you think that there will be more empty slots as you continue on? Because I don't think that'll happen.
Well, just
the empty slots that we see are the ones that we're going to get to fill in, and that's all there's going to be until maybe the next DLC.
Yeah, no, I agree on that. I'm just saying that there is empty slots, so I don't think all of the exotic engrams that they're showing is everything.
No, I don't think so either. No, I think those are specifically year 2 upgrades.
Yeah, because keep in mind, Deej on that account didn't have all the current exotics, so maybe we didn't see everything.
Yep.
I like how some of them are getting a little bit of a redesign too. The Suros is turning black. We haven't seen the new last word yet, but the thumbnail is different. Some of them are just getting a little tweaked. The Light Beyond Nemesis, I couldn't see any visual tweak to it, which was a little bit disappointing because it's kind of an ugly helmet.
Oh, really? I think it looks cool. The feathers.
I mean, hey, everybody's got their own taste. I'm not putting down anybody who likes the look of the helmet. I don't.
Okay. Okay. Now. No, I'm joking.
I don't know. It's interesting. I wonder how the decisions got made to bring the new stuff or the old stuff up and which stuff they chose. I definitely understand Gjallarhorn because it's just got to be a nightmare to balance that thing.
Mm-hmm. I think you're absolutely 100% correct in that they took what the meta is and they look at the numbers and they say, okay, this is where we need to go. Not in the same direction. They need to go in a different direction. And the meta right now definitely dictates it.
Then again, I mean, they've got Last Word, they've got Red Death. I mean, those are definitely, I would say, overused.
But they're nerfed. They're going to be nerfed.
Yeah.
But so is
Last
Thorn.
Word's getting nerfed. Yeah, but Thorn it's got that name right now. You think Thorn.
It does have that name right now. I mean, just bringing it up brings
infamous.
Such emotion.
I was curious to see, I mean, maybe it's not, I don't know, but Necrochasm, I mean, I wonder if that's going to be upgraded in any way. Because you would think with, its lore and stuff, and with orcs, I mean.
Yeah. Think it's going to become an ultra exotic after killing orcs?
I don't know.
It gets upgraded again.
It gets updated into the Suros because that's just a better weapon.
Oh, it fully evolves.
No.
Because it's definitely not like a powerful weapon. I mean, even with its updates, it's impacted. I mean, no one's ever really going to want to use it for PvE if it stays at
the only time you ever really see anyone use it right now is as a joke. It's like, hey, let's all use Necrochasm.
Yeah. It's a challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge weapon, not a, God, he's using necrochasm. Actually, yeah, actually you do say that, but it's more of like wow, I just died to necrochasm.
Honestly, it's great. It's fun on stream to go into a Crucible match, all necrochasms, and just see how you do.
And then see how many assists you can get.
Yeah, we did that in Inferno, and we won. It was a lot of fun. I did that with Wally.
If you all team fire, you can get it done.
Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You want to talk about the Cryptarch? He's going to be selling legendary engrams.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only change there. Legendary engrams for legendary marks, and they do have a small chance of turning into an exotic.
That's nice.
Yeah, so.
They're real legendary engrams, not fake ones.
Yeah.
I can't imagine gambling too much on these, considering not at first anyway. Considering I've got uses for those legendary marks.
I think the Cryptarch and these legendary engrams are going to be the long tail end of the Taken King. To where once you've used up all of your resources for what you need to actually upgrade and acquire, and you've done all the things and all the quests that could potentially require any kind of legendary marks, I think that is ultimately where you spend your legendary marks at the tail end of the Taken King before the next expansion.
I can definitely see that. Once I'm done reviewing every single exotic and covering every single thing, my butt's going to be in the Crucible, and every single time I have enough marks, it's going to go into one of those engrams to try to get another exotic, or to try to get a better roll on a special sniper that I would want.
Exactly.
And
which I'm really happy about on that Reforging going away, because I like getting it. I like getting an engram and thinking, oh man, am I going to get a sweet longbow synthesis?
No,
Tefty, I was so on board with Reforging when I heard about it coming out, and what I find it did is just it
stagnates things.
It really diminished the replayability of the.
It did. It took away so much.
It did. It's sad because it was such a cool idea, and I thought it was going to be great. I could get these perfect rolls, and man, I feel like it hurt the game.
It really did.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you suddenly won the lottery and money didn't mean anything to you, and you just lost all sense of value.
Yeah. I think that's a big reason why, a lot of the guns that drop just mean nothing. There's like one gun for every class of weapons that you actually want. The Hopscotch Pilgrim or Dry Rot or like whatever you're looking for whatever content you like to play, and then you maximize it to make it absolutely perfect, and then there's nothing that could drop that could possibly interest you.
Yeah, I got a Her Benevolence. I was like, yes, finally got this. And then I got a second one. I was like, cool, I'll roll one with surplus. And the third one, I had absolutely no emotional reaction over.
Cool. I get a mode of light and 3 weapon parts.
Yep.
So speaking of weapons, Gunsmith. The Gunsmith. He's changing his tune. He will provide field test weapons that you can lease for free, and each one has kind of its own built-in weapon bounty, where you get to complete certain actions and then return it to the gunsmith, and you'll get rep to him. And then once you have enough rep, you can complete foundry orders once per week. And on Wednesday, so that's Armsday. Armsday is now Wednesday, so that'll probably be when we see loot videos coming out from various YouTube channels.
This is the new Xur video.
Basically the new Xur video. Not it. And basically you'll get a weapon from ordering these foundry orders, and they cost 2,500 glimmer for each foundry order, and it looks like you can get one from each weapon manufacturer or something like that.
Yeah, and they're gonna be changing, I think, each week too. So sometimes you might have, you're pretty much going to have a new weapon that you can get every week. And once you rank up to, let's say, rank 3, you're going to be able to get even more, at one time, and just keep grinding those up, and seeing which.
Can't you select the weapon you're going to get too?
Yeah, basically it's like so. For the foundry order, it says an order for a Suros scout rifle, and then foundry orders are delivered via the gunsmith on Armsday, which occurs on Wednesday. So you'd get that. You're going to get a scout rifle, and then you get to see it, and then you're like, oh wow, I actually really like this.
The cool thing is too that, well, maybe cool for some people, not cool for others, but it's basically like an engram, because the type of weapon, And actually, you're going to have to go to a database of the armory to actually see the stats. But once you kind of know what these weapons are, and you know the possible perks, I mean, every time you get one, it's going to have new perks. So it's basically almost like Reforging. You can get a scout rifle over and over again if you want, but it's going to have new perks every time. So even though Reforging is gone, at least for the Taken King stuff, you can still, I think,
it's a much slower process.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even though it's gone, I mean, you have so many more opportunities to get weapons and armor. So
yeah. And then you get to upgrade that stuff if you really like it.
That's true, yeah. How does the field test work right now? Because I'm a little unclear about this.
So basically, from what we understood from the Game Informer article is you get one of those white weapons, and it will have... You know how Husk of the Pit had like the... You have to kill Hive with this weapon requirement.
Oh, as a little bubble in it?
A little. I'm assuming that's what it is, but it'll be like, okay, you have to get a bunch of headshots with this sniper rifle. Go
basically
test it
just
out
a
for
bounty.
me.
It's like this one. It says make precision shots to gather data for Omelan's weapon. So it's an Omelan weapon. You've got to get precision shots, and then once you've got 200 or whatever precision shots you need, you turn it in. You wait for Wednesday, and then
you turn it in, and then the foundry orders are what you have to wait for, and you can only pick them up at certain ranks. Yeah. Doing the field test weapons is to get the rep with the Gunsmith.
Right.
So it's two separate things. Field test weapons to earn rep, and then once you've got enough rep, then you can purchase multiple foundry orders every week. Is that correct then?
Correct.
Yeah. And as you rank up, you can order more foundry orders. So when you're rank 1, you might only be able to buy one weapon. But when you're rank 5, you might be able to get 3 or 4, so you can have more choices available to you.
Well, I also wonder if this is going to be like a weekly reset thing. Like, here's the 5 weapons for this week.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Queen's bounties.
Yeah, I'm positive.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe they'll have Fate of All Fools from the Gunsmith.
Ooh. I like.
Probably not, though.
I like this. The only thing that concerns me about this is... Actually, I talked to Robbie V with him about this on the Nightfall. Is that... This could be the type of thing where you eventually don't care about it.
Of course.
Yeah, and you're just like, well, I don't need this shotgun, or I don't care about that sniper rifle. I'm not going to take the time to do this. So, hopefully, the rewards really are worth it, and they're exciting, and they're useful for the infusion aspects and all that. But my only fear is that this kind of becomes a mundane aspect after a month has worn off, and I'm like, I could care less.
I imagine we'll know, like, it says you're going to get this Suros DIS 43 scout rifle, so you're going to know the base stats of it. So at the start of the week, you can look over that, go to a database, see if you like the base stats of it, and then go, okay, I actually want to try to get that particular weapon. Cool.
Sure.
Yeah. So I imagine
we're going into the Taken King with an advantage, or a disadvantage, I guess I should say, in that the meta of the game is getting completely mixed up too. So, we're not going to know right away what the best weapons are. You might see something that looks good to your old meta brain, but in the new meta, it may be, worse or better than what you expect it to be. So, like, kind of mixing all that stuff up. Hopefully, it's going to take us a little longer to figure all this stuff out, and then I expect this stuff is going to be more valuable to Crucible players because it's going to be all Connecticut. It's all going to be kinetic. It's not going to have it's not going to have burns on it. So your raid weapons are
the
still
primary
better
for it, at least. The specials probably will.
Exactly.
I mean, they're just going to be basic, weapons. So for people that play every day, like we do, eventually, this stuff. I mean, we're not going to need more weapons because it's just going to take up all space, and
it might just turn into, since it looks like it just causes glimmer. It just might be a way to get a weapon that you can nuke for more legendary marks.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
That'll be, if nothing else, you'll be able to use it for that. So
yeah.
Well, that'd be worth it. It's just I'd love it to be something exciting. Like when I get a Vanguard package pre House of Wolves, I'd be excited to see if one of those weapons would drop that I'm interested in. And it'd be nice if this is going to be in that vein, but I don't really think it is.
Now there's not going to be a reforging, right? So even if you get a weapon that you already have,
you might get a better roll.
Hopefully you'll at least look at the rolls. You'll at least look at the perks on it.
Yeah, no, that's true. I just want Arms Day to be awesome. That's all.
I do too, man.
I want to be
Arms
excited
Day.
for Arms Day up until the next DLC.
Armsday hype.
You don't want it to be like the Queen's Bounties day where I was excited up until I grinded to rank 5 and realized that I won't be getting anything, and then it's like, why am I even doing these?
Not even a cutscene with the Queen saying, "Thank you, Holtzman. Thank you."
Yep. Yep.
Infusion.
Mm-hmm. So all these new weapons that you get, you'll have to infuse them to really make them start singing, for the most part.
Right. So like their attack level is going to start off at, let's say, a number like 280 or 290. But if you really like something, you can basically sacrifice other weapons to it, but they have to have a higher attack value than the one you're upgrading. So you're basically, like, say you find a scout rifle that has a 300 attack on it, you can sacrifice that to one that has a 280 attack and upgrade that one to a higher number. We don't know if it's going to go all the way up to 300. It probably isn't. But
and year 1 weapons can't be infused, right?
Year 1 weapons can't be infused. That's correct.
Right. This is really exciting because this makes raids and raids drops very important and awesome, because you get a primary weapon that drops in a raid, and you've already had 5 of them. It doesn't matter. You can sacrifice it to increase whatever particular Vanguard weapon that you like, or a Suros weapon that you like, and keep increasing its attack value. So it's suddenly very useful to keep getting those drops in King's Fall to keep infusing weapons and armor.
Right. This is going to keep players playing that. And Crucible players are going to be all over this too, because if they find out that this particular scout rifle, if you upgrade it from 290 to 300 attack, all of a sudden goes from a 5-shot kill to a 4-shot kill, they're going to jump on that like
huge
crazy.
Difference, yeah. Now, do we know the max attack value?
No. No, we do not.
I'm assuming it's probably 330, something like that, but we honestly don't know. So
don't know. Okay. This is exciting. I mean, this solves a lot of problems that Destiny has right now for the replayability, and getting things and infusing them and making like this scout rifle that you have really unique to you because you've put in the time to get it to a certain attack level is awesome. It gives a reward system that just the game really needs. Yeah.
And it since they're not reforging, like there's going to be more differences between the scout rifle I have, even though they might be the same Suros scout rifle, the one I have compared to the one you have, Tefty, right? It has different perks. I've put more because I like it. I've put more time into upgrading it and getting it up to a higher attack value. Like you're really gonna feel like this is my gun. Like this is something that I really like. I really like to use. So I've put time and effort into making it my gun. Exactly. I think that's awesome. And the same is gonna go for armor.
Yeah. This will work for legendary weapons, armor, exotic weapons, armor, and I think they even said rare weapons and armor. And it's also going to work for ghost shells and I believe legendary class armor too, or legendary class items too. Yeah.
Yes, that is true.
I'll be upgrading that frontier shell like crazy.
Infusion.
Got to keep my OG shell.
Just so everybody knows who's listening, the guide might already be up or it might be up after this, but I'm putting together a pretty extensive infusion guide because we got so many questions about infusion, and I don't want to take this podcast to explain all these intricacies of infusion, but we're going to do a separate guide for that, about 6-minute video. It just thoroughly explains everything you need to know. So if you're listening to this and that's out, I'll link it in the description, so make sure you go and watch that just so you can see every single thing you need to know that we currently know about infusion, because it is kind of, tricky to get your mind around it at first, but it's going to be extremely important. But the most important thing that you need to know, which I've gotten so many questions about, and I guess people just aren't reading this, is that the gear that you dismantle or that you infuse, it's got to be unlocked. It's got to be not currently equipped. It has to be of the same year, so year 2 or higher. But, we're only in year 2 right now, and the same gear slot. So you can infuse a auto rifle into a scout rifle. You can infuse a head item into a head item. You can infuse a machine gun into a rocket launcher. It just has to be in the same slot. So primary, special, or heavy, or head, chest. The gear slots. And it says it has to be of a similar quality. So we don't exactly know if you can do legendary to exotic, but that's what it seems like because it doesn't say the same quality. They didn't really go into that on the stream, but we're thinking that you can actually, as long as the attack or defense level is higher, you can put that legendary into an exotic or vice versa. You just have to make sure that the item you're putting into it has a higher level. So, 300 attack to 270 or, 290 attack to 288 or, whatever it is, as long as it's higher.
It really makes me wonder what that ceiling is going to be and how difficult it's going to be to obtain that ceiling marker for both defense and attack. Because at some point you're going to inspect somebody and be like, damn, they got 350 attack on that weapon? I mean, that's got to be like 10 maxed out scout rifles that they put in that thing. That's a time effort right there.
And I think that's why they replaced the light with the Grimoire. So it's a much better representation of how much you put into the game, because if you've got let's say the max, just for argument's sake, is 330. If you've got a 330 light, that means every single piece of your gear is 330, and that's going to take forever to do, because you're going to have to infuse a lot of stuff, because I'm guessing only the raid exotics and raid legendaries are going to start at max armor.
That's what I'm assuming. Yeah.
But what's awesome about this is hopefully it solves that Forever 29 issue where you're just waiting for that one thing to drop out of the raid, like that one pair of boots to drop out of the raid. Now it's like if you get a similar item, you could just upgrade the item you've got and finally get it up to the level you need it to be.
Yeah.
So hopefully it won't be as frustrating as going from 29 to 30 was, but it'll still take a while, still take some effort.
It also makes me wonder if you have like something that's maxed out, let's say at 330, if you were to take that and you're ready to retire it because you've got something else that you want to upgrade and bring to a max level, I wonder if that's going to give more of a boost by sacrificing that 330 level attack to a 290 attack level, and how much of a boost, if it's going to give a greater boost or if it's going to be the same as if it was like a 300 attack.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
You would think. Yeah. I mean, you would think that's how they would do it. I mean, it just makes sense that they would do it like that. But yeah, we don't know for sure yet. But that's what I'm guessing.
Yeah. Reforging is not actually completely gone. You can still reforge year 1 House of Wolves weapons.
Yay.
That's surprising to me.
Well,
that they would just leave it there for just like this one segment of weapons.
Because year 1 content.
Yeah. And when you think about it, it's not going to matter because people might be using, Faebringer and they might be using Gjallarhorn, but no one is going to be using regular legendary House of Wolves items because green and blue, your 2 items are going to be much stronger, so there's going to be no incentive for people to use that stuff unless they would just want to keep their epic perks on it, but it's not a big deal. I don't think it's there, but it might as well not be.
I wonder if you'll be able to still do like a Dragon Strike and get House of Wolves quality gear and bring it there to be reforged, or if because it drops after the Taken King, it's now considered year 2.
No, I mean I think you'll still be able to get. Well,
I think it's like it is right now, where if you go into Rock Strikes, you can get the Dark Below items.
But then again, why would they even drop that? Well, I guess.
But would you be able to reforge it?
Yeah, no. If you get a House of Wolves, House of Wolves item, you should be able to reforge it. But my thing is, I was thinking, why would they drop House of Wolves items because you're not going to be using it? But I'm thinking in my mind, I have to think for other people. Like if you're a new player and you're at the level of a Dragon Strike, 20 something, if you get a House of Wolves item, you probably going to be excited about it because you're that level. You're not in that year 2 content yet. You're not, going in and doing in-game stuff and getting those level 40 legendary stuff. So that House of Wolves item, might be good, but for the majority of us who are going to be doing the in-game and the new whatever new strike Marmalade or whatever they said it was going to be called. I mean, we're going to be getting the
Lady Marmalade.
What did they say it was going to be? It was a weird.
I don't know.
Marmoset.
Yeah.
Marmoset. Yeah.
So we're going to be doing those and getting those blue, green, blue, and eventually legendary stuff, and we're not even going to be worried about that House of Wolves stuff.
Honestly, the only reason to do year 1 content is for PvP. It really is. Like, if somebody wants a longbow synthesis.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but
or
is
get
there going to be a way to
Veils.
get the Matador? Because the Matador only drops in the Crucible.
From engrams. Can't you get it from engrams, or does it not drop?
It
from
does
engrams?
not drop from engrams. From what
Only
I've
seen it
what I've
drop in
seen.
the Crucible.
Yeah, it's only
Same
a drop.
with Party Crasher.
A lot of this stuff is just questions that we're just gonna have to wait to find out, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
That might have been Bungie's way of limiting that type of shotgun,
Good.
which would be awesome because
Yeah.
the nerf can't come sooner.
All right, that was it, right? No more news, right? Nothing at all.
Absolutely
Nothing
nothing,
left to talk
at
about.
all. Oh wait, there's
Nothing else.
there's the fact that they did double the vault space, but I don't think we need to really cover that
Meh.
much, right?
Who cares?
No, not that
Not
big
good
of a-
enough, frankly.
Yeah.
I was actually disappointed to see this. I'll be honest with you. 72 slots. I mean, great. They doubled
No
it.
one asked for
but-
this. I mean, they didn't.
Yeah, this is not on my list of needs.
My vault is so packed right now that I know that as soon as I get 72 slots, it's gonna be it's just gonna pop and suddenly expand into all 72 of those slots. It's gonna be like
Yeah, it's just gonna explode.
it is. It's literally just gonna pop into place. And suddenly a week into the Taken King, I'll have 4 slots left.
At any given time, I have 15 items in the Postmaster that I'm holding
it's
there because
it's my
of.
secondary storage.
Oh, it's awful.
I lost a Gjallarhorn a couple weeks ago because I let it sit there too long and it got pushed out by new stuff.
I think I did that to a Monte Carlo.
I mean, I'm glad that they're increasing the vault space, but it's just visually, it looks a little cheesy. Somehow the way they're spaced out funny looks weird to me. The items in the vault are spaced out funny, and it just looks a little compared to how polished the new quest screen looks and how the kiosks look. This one just, I don't know, it just looks
It's lacking
thrown
holograms.
together.
You need more holograms in it.
And then 72. I mean, if they're gonna upgrade it, give me more than double. It's gonna get used up so fast. We're gonna be in the same conversation.
We said
in
we're going to be
December or
having the
January.
same conversation the last time they increased the vault space from its original amount.
Yeah,
Truthfully, no amount of space is going to be enough for people, I don't think.
it's true.
So
That's
personally, this is great. You doubled the vault space from what it currently is. Cool. I'll still fill it up, but at least for a little while, I'll be fine.
See, I want to be able to infuse my vault. I want to infuse my vault for extra space.
I want to sacrifice other vaults to my
That's
vault.
what I want.
Well, in World of Warcraft, you actually kind of had to do that, where you had to pay in-game currency to get your bank to have a higher amount of stuff to hold it in.
I wouldn't mind that either. I'd gladly drop a 5.
Well, in the vault, they Deej, when he zoomed into the vault, he quickly went to page 2, so we got 2 or 3 frames of 2 items.
Yes.
Number 1, we'll get to the last one, but number 1, a legendary version of the Stranger's Rifle.
No,
We don't know the
That's what it
stats.
looks like.
We just saw.
That's what it
we
looks like,
saw
right?
the
It looks
thumbnail
like a
of the
Stranger's
Stranger's Rifle. So, time on target. That might be how you get it. Might be getting a legendary version of the Stranger's Rifle. Then you have to upgrade that. I'm okay with that.
that'd be awesome.
It's
That'd be
odd.
When Bell was on,
It's odd.
When Bell was on, go ahead.
Well, I was just
Go
going
ahead,
to say
Ryan.
that it's odd that it doesn't have the Year 2 Taken King symbol on it,
That is
That is weird.
fun. Yeah, you're right.
Most interesting.
Maybe. Oh, they might have retooled the story though.
We speculated a little bit about maybe they would make a quest line where you actually have to upgrade your Stranger's Rifle to get it to be No Time to Explain.
Mhm.
Right? Similar to what we did for Necrochasm. And this would fit that. I mean, the fact that there's no Taken King symbol is still a year 1 weapon.
I'm still so hesitant to be like, yeah, that's how they're going to do it. I really hope that isn't it.
Well, Tefty,
Or they
You hope it isn't it?
Tefty, I think
I hope
think
it
what
is.
you said makes sense about how my thing was every time I went through the story on a character and finished and I got a rare weapon after I did all that stuff, I was just like, what?
Yeah.
So it would make
Yeah.
sense for them to update, since they're updating everything else. They're updating storylines and voices and everything else. Why don't they just update the Stranger's Rifle itself to be legendary, right? So that year,
Yeah, exactly.
year 1, original Stranger's Rifle for everybody probably is just going to get automatically updated to legendary. And if you don't have it, if you dismantled it, they'll probably just put it in your inventory. Just, no questions asked. And I think for new people that just start and do the story, they're going to end the story and get an actual legendary Stranger's Rifle that you can, we're all going to be able to use to eventually get the No Time to Explain. That's my theory anyway.
That would make sense. Also, it makes sense that Deej would have one just sitting in his vault.
Well, we know that Bungie likes to hide little Easter eggs for us to find.
That's true.
All throughout the live stream, he was mentioning, take screenshots of this, YouTubers. You're going to want to see this.
That's true.
Well, speculation aside from how this legendary Stranger's Rifle will come about, we did get to see one other item in that vault. We saw a thumbnail of a sword. It's to the bottom right of the of the Stranger's Rifle. And then, in addition to seeing the thumbnail, we actually got to see both the stats, because they moused over it. And then we got to see it on one of the characters' backs as they were having a dance party at the very end.
With new dance moves.
There's some new dance moves,
Yeah.
but I'm more hyped about
Loved
the
it.
sword, because this thing, it looks cool, and it looks like it has an ability on it where you use L2 to guard, effective against solar and void attacks, less effective against arc attacks.
And again,
You think that'll work against supers?
You see, that's what I'm talking about. Remember when I was talking about how some of these armors might be geared towards mayhem? These armor perks? I have a feeling that these perks will play very well into
Mayhem mode where everyone's only using swords and doing crazy ninja shit, flying around in the air, blocking.
Oh, I can't wait.
That is going to be chaos.
That's
I wonder
gonna
if
be
it'll
awesome.
work like the Crotosword does, where
I
you
hope
can
it works like the
jump up
Crotosword.
in the air,
I hope it does. Oh my god!
and then you can basically like swing across a room.
I'd imagine that they have like, I think it's going to be a charge up mechanic. This is what I'm guessing. It's a charge up mechanic because I don't know if it would make sense that it would be ammo that you spend on your heavy.
Well,
So
remember
maybe
we
it's like a
saw
cooldown.
the screenshot.
We saw a heavy ammo
yeah,
counter.
we saw that screenshot, and it looked like
it had an ammo counter.
Yeah, it looked like it was,
But
it was going to have just like a normal.
So two possibilities. Two possibilities that it's normal ammo and you spend it by swiping and hitting and so on and so forth or blocking. The other possibility is that it's actually a cooldown that charges up.
Like a stamina
So you- it
system.
refills.
I
like
do
a
think
stamina
it'll
that
charge
refills.
up because it has the efficiency stat, which I think is going to. I think that's
efficiency.
another word for charge up. The more efficiency you've got,
or
the
efficiency could
quicker
be
it's gonna
like
charge up.
maybe the efficiency is how like little ammo it uses every time you do that.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be. Yeah, how effective it uses space magic.
So you've got
sword hits.
speed, which is probably how quick it is. You've got impact, which is obvious. Range is kind of obvious. No sense in guessing about that. Now defense is most likely just how much damage reduction you take when you use that ability, because it looks like that's pretty much the only special ability that's on there. And then energy. I'm guessing energy is like your ammo. If you have more energy, you've got more ammo.
Maybe.
Yeah, more swipes maybe.
I don't know. We'll have to see. I wonder. Do you think we'll be able to like block a rocket?
I don't know.
Maybe with a full defense sword.
Yeah.
I mean,
know,
we're just going to have to
I can't
wait
wait
and
to play
see.
with the
It
sword.
all
That's gonna
looks
be fun.
awesome. Like, it just looks awesome.
I can't wait to play Mayhem. Oh my god.
The only thing, Tefty, I want there to be ammo for this thing because I don't want people being able to camp with this thing for an entire match. Like
Yeah,
just
but think of it like a
standing
shotgun.
behind corners and stuff.
Think of it like a shotgun,
Yeah.
It's the same type of principle. You already have plenty of shotguns happening right now. I don't think they're going to make a Fellwinner's Arc Edge sword. I think that would be foolish of them. But
There's such a
if you
big
pulled
lunge
out
on
your sword,
swords.
if you pulled out your sword and blocked a arc blade, how sick would that be?
That would be sick.
That would be.
That's going on YouTube, baby.
That's montage material right there.
There's probably going to be different versions of it too. Solar Edge or Void Edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think we should.
I just also want to say that those dance emotes look sexy.
Yeah.
I cannot wait
They
to
look
push
fun.
new dance emotes.
And we don't exactly know if those are going to be the collector's emotes or not, but probably are. Probably are going to be the collector's ones.
I hope there's like 9 of them that you can go and
Go
collect
find,
somehow. There's like drops or some sort of faction quest line or something.
Yeah, you could set up a funny, easygoing quest and get that as a reward. It'd be kind of weird to like you go through the hardest, most difficult thing, and it's like super serious.
Here's a dance.
And then you get dancers at the end. It's
You
like
can do the Carlton.
Dude, if I got an Oryx dance, I would not mind one bit. Dropping Oryx and you get like the Carlton, I would be like, this is fantastic.
That'd be better than getting another time breaker.
Exactly.
Another colored time breaker.
Yep. Oh, hey, does that also mean that would get pulled out of the loot system then? Because can you rebuy sparrows?
yeah.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah, so that stuff is going to get pulled out of the loot system in RNG once you get it from the boss.
Probably.
Is that going to work for old content too?
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably not. You're still gonna. I'm still gonna be looking for a
because it works differently in
measure.
Crota's End and in Vault of Glass, right? Is once you get the shader, the ship, and the sparrow from Crota's End, you can't get it again, right? Unless you delete it. Am I wrong in that? I'm almost positive it's true with the shader and the emblem.
The shader and emblem, you can't get them again unless you either don't have them in your inventory or you delete them. I don't know.
Yeah. But that's not true in Vault of Glass for sure. You can get that Chatterwhite emblem
all day.
Chatterwhite all day, yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, the first times running Vault of Glass were just me getting just Chatterwhites and shards over and over again.
Oh, cool! I got the ship.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got the ship again.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got the ship.
I got a fleet of time breakers. What are you going to do with all these? They don't even dismantle into glimmer.
Yep. The reward you get for dismantling your time breaker is space in your inventory.
Yeah. And loss of time.
Yeah.
You lose time.
Did you guys check out the weekly update? Did you see that cool video for the VIP rewards?
I didn't watch it yet.
Yes, I did, and I have to say, they look really nice. I like them.
I do too. I mean, they're definitely. I haven't gotten the Revenant shader yet, so this is definitely taking some of the salt out of that wound.
Yeah. Well, now instead of being completely black, you can be like black with some gray tiger stripes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like tigers.
Yeah, it looks sexy.
Hear me roar, baby.
The sparrow that you get is all entirely jet black. I like that. Hopefully, it's going to be
cool.
like one of the time breaker type sparrows where it has the boost for speed on it, or else probably not going to use it. Just saying.
See, I like the legendaries that I upgrade through Xur better.
Really?
Yeah, they have
More
a
flavor.
faster. Well, they're faster by just not boosting. Like their base speed is faster, and they have the other button is basically like a U-turn button, like a.
It's a brake.
Prefer it.
Yeah, it's a brake.
Yeah, well, it's like a handbrake though.
Oh, it's like a power glide.
Yeah, so I used to use the time breaker all the time, but you get sick of just like constantly tapping that button if you want to go super fast, and then like if you're not playing with any sound on, you blow the thing up a lot because you're not hearing it, kind of.
Yep.
So I end
you
up
can watch the
using
back of it. The brake lights will have a little charge meter on it, and when they get to red, stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really pay attention that much when I'm flying around.
I just noticed it out the corner of my eye. Just saying.
But yeah, I wouldn't mind if it was just a regular legendary.
All right, guys, that was the end of the 30-second podcast. Sorry, Pope Bear had to dip out early due to some work stuff, but we went through the entire stream again, and it took longer to go through and discuss the stream than it took to actually do the stream in proper PlanetDestiny fashion. Yeah, so if you guys want to hear more about me, by the way, this Saturday, at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Red Bull Esports, the Twitch page, I will be competing with Triple Wreck, Fizzor, Nkooch, Dado, Kjovi, Imtash, all the Destiny guys that will be playing Rift at the Red Bull Esports studio. I have no idea if it's a tournament. I have no idea what's going on. I just know I'm there. I'm playing Rift with all these awesome people. So you guys should definitely tune into that. It'll be really, really fun.
That's awesome. I've placed my bets already.
Yep. I bet it's against me. Because that's a smart bet. Smart bet when you got Imtash, Kjovi, and Triple Wreck in the same room as me.
I'm Briar Rabbit. You can find me at the Briar Rabbit on Twitter, at the Briar Rabbit channel on YouTube. You can find me streaming on Wednesdays and Thursdays on the PlanetDestiny Twitch page, and obviously other places as well.
And my name is Tefty Teft. You can talk to me at Teft on Twitter. You can check out my own personal channel as well, Tefty Teft Games on YouTube. And you can also catch me streaming on the PlanetDestiny Twitch page, usually 9 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Thursday. Although Thursday I usually start at 10 p.m. And then I do trials on PS4 a Saturday night, 9 p.m. Pacific time, and Monday night for Xbox One.
And my name is Ryan. I don't usually come on the podcast, but I wanted to talk about a lot of this stuff, and I think it's really exciting what we've got to look forward to. I mean, just so much stuff to dive into once Taken King comes out. Infusion's going to be a big thing, and we're going to have a guide for that very soon. Probably it's going to be up by the time this podcast goes up, so make sure to watch that, and just keep it locked on PlanetDestiny YouTube and site. Thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep. We will see you guys next week.